So in this question, we have to consider the other case of this thing. So case here is nothing but that r is a function which is on the right hand side. It is in the form of e power ax into v, where v is a function of x. It can be given as cos ax, sin ax, or it can be given as what, a polynomial in x. That is also possible. Okay, so that's also possible. So anything is possible. So we'll try to analyze that, how to proceed with the solution. So as we know, solution is always for non-homogeneous is equal to what? Suppose y is the solution. It is equal to yc plus yp, where yc is the complementary function and yp is the particular integral or particular function. And in order to find yc, it always depends upon LHS side, and it is same for all the cases. But yp will change depending on the cases. Okay, we'll try to analyze. First, we have to find yc. So for that, it is not given in proper order, so we have to assume that let capital D is equal to d by dx. When it is given directly in d, you can take directly d, but here it is not given, that's why. So d by dx is equal to d, so d square by dx square can be written as d square, then y is there, plus 2 into d by dx, again it can be written as d, y is there, minus 3y as it is, equal to e power x into cos x as it is. From this LHS part, can I take y common? So it will be d square plus 2d plus minus 3 into y is equal to what? E power x into cos x. Right. Now we have to, for yc, always remember we have to form the auxiliary equation. For that we have to find the roots, then we can get the answer. For finding the auxiliary equation is quite simple. Whatever is there inside the bracket after taking out y outside. So m in place of d put as m. So m square plus 2m minus 3 as it is equated to 0 to form auxiliary equation. No need to bother about what RHS side, as we said, YC depends on what LHS part. Now we have to find roots of what this particular equation. Now this is in the form of a quadratic equation. So this can be found out using calculator if it is allowed. Otherwise quadratic formula, or otherwise the splitting up middle term, which comes under what? Factorization method. So splitting a middle term, the first coefficient of m square is 1. So 1 into minus 3 is minus 3. So while multiplying, you should get minus 3. While adding, you should get the middle term plus 2. Minus 3, the factors are 1 and 3, right? So I can take only 1 and 3. So I'll be getting m square plus 3m minus 1m minus 3 is equal to 0. See, you have to carefully see. Minus 3 into minus 1. How much? Minus 3. Sorry, plus 3 into minus 1, how much? Minus 3. 3 minus 1, how much? The middle term, plus 2. So it is satisfied. Now we can take grouping. So first 2 and last 2. So from this m common, so what is remaining? M plus 3. Here also m plus 3 should be remaining. So outside I can take minus 1. So this and this are equal. So m plus 3 outside. What is inside? M minus 1 equal to 0. Now these two are multiplication factor. So I can write it as m plus 3 is equal to 0 and m minus 1 is equal to 0. So from this m value is equal to minus 3 and from this m is equal to plus 1. Now after getting two values, always remember that whenever you're getting the m values as real and distinct in the sense different values. So how to write yc value? M is equal to, suppose alpha and beta are the roots, two different roots you are getting. So yc value can be written as c1 e power alpha x plus c2 e power beta x, right? This is the form to write the answer. So alpha and beta are the roots given. So in this particular equation, so yc is equal to c1 e power, you can take minus 3 or plus 1, anything is fine. So minus 3x plus c2 e power 1x, so we can write it as x. So this is the answer. For yc, we just calculated yc. It only depends on what the LHS part. Now we have to calculate the particular integral. So in order to find yp, so yp is basically 1 by function of d into e power ax into v. Suppose this is a function in the RHS part. So this can be rewritten as what? This is what you have to do here. Yp will be equal to what? You have to take e power ax outside and you have to put 1 by f of d plus a into v. This is very important. V is nothing but the function of x which is sitting here. It is cos x. And what is changed? The operator has been changed. That means d has become d plus a. This a depends upon the e power ax, that a, it depends on that a, okay. So we'll try to analyze here what we have to do. So yp value will be equal to 1 by the whatever is there inside the bracket, the function of d square plus 2d minus 3, okay, into the RHS part, e power x cos x. Now what you have to do? Now we have to take e power x, e power x, whatever the x part is there, e power x outside, and outside what? The operator, and change what? D to d plus 1. Very important. Why d plus 1 we have to take? As I said, we are changing the d to d plus a. This a depends upon e power ax. Now this a in this question is e power x. So e power 1x. X coefficient is 1 here, right? That's why d plus 1. Now taking e power x outside in the sense, outside the operator in the sense, yp is equal to e power x outside and 1 divided by, in place of d you have to put d plus 1 the whole square plus 2 into d plus 1 minus 3 into cos x. Very important step here. This is quite important because e power x, whatever the value is there, you have to take it outside and you have to change the d as d plus a. Here it is 1. So we have changed it to what? D plus 1. Okay, rest all will remain as it is. Cos x will remain there itself. Now e power x will be outside. So we won't be touching this e power x. We have to solve only this part. So start solving this. So yp is equal to e power x as it is into this part. If you expand, it will be 1 divided by a plus b the whole square. It will be d square plus 2d plus 1 plus expand this bracket. So 2d plus 2 minus 3 into cos x. So yp value will be equal to e power x into 1 divided by, now solve this one, d square as it is, 2d plus 4, 2d is nothing but 4d, 1 plus 2 minus 3, cancel, 0. So what is remaining now? Cos x. After simplifying this thing, what you have to understand? We have to solve only this part. Now we have to consider the previous cases we considered there cos a power x. I hope you remember that part. That is very important. K into cos a power x, that part. Where we used to substitute in place of d square as what? Minus a square. Here also same thing. D square as what? Minus a square. Where this a depends on what? Not this a. It depends upon the cos ax value here. Okay, so this part we are not touching. After solving, after taking e power x a outside, we are not touching that part. Okay, so we have to take, be careful, a power x, e cos a power x. So a is here 1, so minus 1 square. What is minus 1 square? It is minus 1, because minus 1 the whole square and minus 1 square difference is there. Minus 1 whole square is minus 1 into minus 1. Minus 1 square is minus 1 into 1, which is equal to minus 1. Here it is plus 1. So we have to consider what this part. Okay, so yp will become e power x as it is into 1 divided by, instead of in place of d square it is minus 1, so minus 1 plus 4d into cos x. Now as we have discussed before also the problems, whenever we are getting that d is again left out after substituting the square value, we have to remove this d from the denominator. For that purpose we can just interchange this value. So yp will be equal to e power x into 1 divided by, this can be rewritten as 4d minus 1. That is also possible, right? 4d minus 1 into cos x. I have not changed the sign, it's the same thing. Now what you have to do, we have to change this, remove this d from the denominator. We have to multiply and divide with 4d plus 1 and divide with 4d plus 1. Multiply and divide with 4d plus 1. Why we are doing this? Because here this denominator will become in which form? A plus b into a minus b form. Therefore you will be getting a square minus b square. Then you can utilize that d square value again. That's why in order to do this simplification purpose in order to remove this d from the denominator, multiply with this thing d 4d plus 1 in order to bring it in a square minus b square form. So yp value will become e power x into, now bring it here, so 4d plus 1 into cos x divided by, this will be in the which form, a square minus b square, it will be 4d square, it is 16d square, and minus 1 square, which is 1. This is in a square minus b square form. I have directly substituted. Again, you can observe d square is there. So d square can be substituted as minus a square. Minus a square remains the same thing, right? So it will be minus 1 square, which is minus 1. So again, in place of d square, you have to substitute what? So 4d plus 1 as it is. Cos x is there. In place of d square, minus 1. So 16 into minus 1 is minus 16, minus 1. So in the numerator part, if you observe, there is a d sitting. So d sitting, so what you have to do, expand this thing. So 4d into cos x plus cos x, because 1 into cos x is cos x, divided by whole divided by minus 17. Now here if you observe, d basically means what? We have already studied d by dx, right? Differentiation of a function with respect to x we have to do. So this cos x function we have to differentiate. So yp is equal to e power x into 4 as it is. Differentiation of cos x is nothing but minus sin x. So minus sin x will come plus cos x. So everywhere the d part is finished, it is vanished, right? So when you simplify this one, so yp is equal to e power x. Okay, this 17 I'll bring it here. So minus 17. Now in numerator I can take minus common, right? It will become 4 sin x minus cos x. That minus sign will come here. This minus cancel. So what is the final answer you are getting? E power x divided by 17 into 4 sin x minus cos x. This is the final answer we are getting for yp we are getting. So what will be the y value? So y value will be equal to yc plus yp, where yc value we already calculated, c1 e power minus 3x plus c2 e power x plus e power x by 17 into 4 sin x minus cos x. This is the final answer. This is yc, this is yp.